My name is Kim Schrøder. I am a professor of communication at Roskilde University in Denmark. Generally speaking, what I'm working with these days is I'm trying to map news consumption. So I'm trying to find out how people are using the news media in their everyday life as a democratic resource. And I'm approaching this topic from two different perspectives. One is what you might call a high altitude perspective, and the other is more like a ground level perspective. And these two different perspectives are reflected in the methods we use to study this. One of the things that's been particularly interesting in recent years has been the role of social media as a medium for getting news, and how that has been growing dramatically for 4 or 5 years. And then it seems that this year, in 2017, this growth has sort of plateaued, so that the importance of social media may have sort of found a natural level. Maybe it will even decline from now on a little bit. Well, we're also looking at things like how people, their willingness to pay, for instance, finding that still there are fairly low levels of willingness to pay. If you look at the Nordic countries, there's a greater willingness than in the English-speaking world, for instance. We also look at some of the possible consequences of the use of social media as a way to get news. And we are asking people, well, you could say there are two different possible developments here which are being discussed at the moment. One is the development of the so-called echo chambers, where people are seeking news and they are exposed to news through the algorithms that are curated for them, not by editors, not by sort of their own independent choice, but by choices made by these algorithms. And the democratic prospects of that are sort of could be grave. But there are also some of our results seem to indicate the reverse, actually, that the people who are relying most on social media to get news get a more diverse range of news, simply because when they get what their friends are posting and so on, they will be exposed to news media they would never come across if they were just seeking news themselves. And in terms of results in this area, we also asked people how they feel about this, and it's quite clear that the news users in various countries, they don't want this. They don't want echo chambers. They are concerned that this may be an implication. They want a diversity of opinions. So we are looking for what is called news repertoires. So the ways in which people select from all the available news media, and they may select a handful or a dozen different news media which sort of become their habitual news diet. And we can find different patterns in that. So some people who are mixing old and new media in their diets, some people who are still really relying on old media broadcasting, print, and then of course also the other extreme, that people who have gone entirely online. So we're trying to map that, and we're also doing this in different countries. And something I'm going to go on to study is sort of to try to study how people find information which is not necessarily in accordance with the definition of news as the news industry or journalism define it, but trying to see more like in a bottom-up sense, what do people see as news or information that they need for a whole range of purposes in everyday life, and how do they do that?